Don't know if you can see that, but yep, it is over 40 degrees and it is currently after 6:30 p.m. Welcome to the middle of summer in Adelaide, and this is going to be my veggie garden walk around for the middle of summer. I say veggie garden. It's yep. Hello Maggie. She's struggling a bit. Of course you would start calling as soon as I start filming. Yeah, it's the middle of summer and we just have not had any rain since the last video I made, actually. At the start of summer, or was that spring? I can't remember, but it literally hasn't rained, I don't think, a single drop since that last video, months ago now. And I'll put some screenshots up on screen of the kind of weeks we've been having with weather. It's just been a struggle. So you can probably tell the gum trees are just dropping endless piles of leaves and bark and twigs and stuff, and everything is it's struggling. Like, everything is crunchy. I've been, having said that, the stuff in the wicking beds is doing remarkably well, really, given the conditions. That's just testament to how good wicking beds are. They just, the tomatoes over there are still actually growing. The Roselle over there is actually still reaching for the light, even on a day like today. But yeah, anyway, let's get on with the tour, eh? Well, the calendula here is still trying to do its thing, and I've harvested heaps of flowers off of this already. I've deadheading as much as I could to try and pump out the blooms, and I currently got a jar of dried calendula flowers soaking in olive oil, and that oil is what you use to make the skin healing balm. That's what I'm after. I had a couple of Roma tomatoes in here, and they actually got up to about here somewhere, and then the stems just went brown and all the leaves died and went crunchy, and one of them died completely, and this one has actually just sent new shoots out from the base. Now it's got about 5 growing tips, so don't ask me what the brown stem thing is, because some other tomato plants have all done it. Like that row of cherry tomatoes there, one plant did it, it's still alive, but all the plants on either side are fine, and my gross list row on the other side, same thing. 3 out of 4 are fine. One of them got the brown stem thing. They survived though. This tomato plant here, one of them completely died. Yep, so I harvested all my popcorn. That was well and truly dried out, and I just finished shelling it today, or whatever you call it, getting it off the cob. Got 860 grams of popcorn, which is pretty good. I cured it in the shed, because the shed is a brilliant drying environment. It's so hot and dry in there during the day, and it pops absolutely mint, and it is delicious. I'll post up a photo of how it looks. And 1 tablespoon of corn kernels turns into 1.5 cups of popcorn, which is pretty good. So I've just put the root pouches up here now with these 4 little Roselle plants, because they won't come to anything this season, but I just can't bring myself to pull them out. Even that one had a flower today. This bed here was mainly 2 Jap pumpkins, got 3 Roselle plants. These have been the main producers, even though the plants aren't very big. I've been very impressed with how many flowers they just keep pumping them out. Like, I could harvest a few of these calyxes, and it'll send 2 more flower buds out from where I picked one. So they've just been going gangbusters. Maybe you can tell on turn the white buttons up a bit. Maybe you can tell every leaf junction it's just got buds galore. So pretty happy with that. I've been saving them up in the freezer, so by the end of the season hopefully I've got enough to make a jar or 2 of Roselle jam, which is what I really want to make. The Jap pumpkins have been a massive disappointment. I've got four Jap pumpkin plants around the place, and I've got 2 pumpkins. So, and both of the pumpkins are just off of one of these plants in this bed here. So there's a pumpkin up there on the pergola, which I can't really reach yet, and there's one over here. So apart from that, that's all I got. I think that one's still getting bigger, so with 2 of those, I mean, that will keep us in pumpkins for a couple of months probably. This Jap pumpkin on this side is, it's got a vine over to there, but no flowers at all. And just stuff like this, you can't really fight that. This plant, today has really taken its toll. This wasn't this bad yesterday, but another roselle plant here. I've been top watering it a lot, and absolutely burying them in like fertilizer pellets, organic fertilizer, dynamic lifter, all that sort of stuff, and watering it in well, and it actually has sent off, more and more new shoots. This bit looks healthy, but no flowers. This little bucket here, I've got 2 Roma tomato plants. Got some fruit coming, which is good. Might be able to harvest those 2 little ones in there tomorrow. These things suffer like all hell from blossom end rot. So yeah, I've lost heaps of fruit to blossom end rot, and just a sign that the soil wasn't good enough. I think I just need more calcium. That's calcium deficiency. The basil, got 2 basil plants in here. Can't keep up with the amount of basil that's being produced. Like, we have had pesto spaghetti a couple of times, and that is magnificent. If you've never had pesto spaghetti with your own homegrown basil, it's just brilliant. Really easy to make. But the basil's, probably my favourite herb. I love the smell of basil, and it's just doing really well. The sweet corn I harvested out of this bed, absolutely delicious. I've never had homegrown sweet corn before. Highly recommend growing it if you can. This is actually some more seeds that I planted. It's pretty questionable whether they'll actually come to anything before the weather goes cold, but I thought while it's still warm I might as well try. The strawberries have pretty much stopped producing and sending out runners every which way, suckers. I've got a tray of suckers here that I'm going to give to somebody. They say you should snip all the suckers off to get them to keep producing flowers. Well, that doesn't work for me for some reason. I just snip all the suckers off and they just send out more suckers, so they don't produce any more flowers once they've started doing this. But this variety of strawberries, I don't know what it actually is, but I got them from somebody a friend of a friend, and supposedly they're the kind that they grow in strawberry farms, and I kind of believe them because you cannot stop these things from growing. They just grow like absolute weeds, and any strawberry plants I bought at nurseries and stuff in the past, they just don't grow at all. And you put these in anywhere and they just send runners out everywhere. They're covered in flowers all the time. So I'm a fan of this type of strawberry, whatever it is. This bed here is mainly cherry tomatoes. Harvested probably like half a kilo of cherry tomatoes this morning. That's why there's not many on there that are ripe, but just look at this. They have been going gangbusters. Like, look up here, there's just like bunches of grapes, it looks like, but it's just cherry tomatoes, and they are amazingly delicious. They're called sugar lump, and they live up to their name. They are just sensational, beautiful eating cherry tomatoes. Another basil plant here that's going to seed. These basil plants are cuttings that I took to put in the kitchen, kept them in a jar of water long enough that they shot roots, so I felt bad for them, put them in some soil. the gross list tomatoes have been doing really well for the most part. I harvested some today that were like the biggest tomatoes I've ever grown, really, and it's been doing pretty well. They've gotten up to the height up to here somewhere, and they just sort of petered out. But maybe that one is starting to shoot again. Got some new flowers up here, so maybe they're not over yet. I mean, look at the size of these tomatoes, can you? They are just magnificent. They taste amazing too, like just cannot compare shop-bought tomatoes to homegrown. They're just so much better if you grow them yourself. The bean trellis here is still producing, believe it or not. I haven't harvested them in a while, so some of them are getting a bit long in the tooth. I'm kind of over green beans actually. Planted way too many. I've been giving them away and just cannot keep up. They taste really good and everything, but there's only so many green beans a man can eat. So now the 2 cucumber seedlings I managed to get going around the other side. I planted them from seed, and they took ages to do anything, and I thought because they're around there in the shade they weren't going to come to much, but they found their way through to the light, and obviously their roots have gotten down to where the damp zone is, the really wet stuff in the wicking bed, and they've just starting to take over the bean trellis. So this trellis I made originally in winter for the shelling peas. When they died, the bean came up, made use of it, and now the bean's tapering off and the cucumbers have made use of it. Just very ad hoc growing system. And yes, it is making cucumbers, which is that noisy car does that same time every day. Sounds like dog shit. Anyway, yeah, cucumbers doing good. They're a burpless kind, whatever that means, and they don't really get much bigger than that, which is good. You don't really want a ginormous cucumber. You can't eat it all before it goes soggy. Oh, the poor lemon tree looking really sad today in the heat. I need to put the drippers on quick. The mandarin tree is looking like the mandarin tree, so not doing too bad. The what do you call that? The passion fruit vine is kind of wilted. No surprises there. 2 passion fruits from that enormous, massive greenery and vines growing up the trees on the reserve. Just going everywhere, hopping the fence into the neighbour's yard. 2 passion fruits. So that thing's going in the bin when I get around to chopping it up. I've got 2 watermelon plants. That was a green watermelon yesterday and it's shriveled up. I don't think I'm going to get anything off of these. These watermelons, they're a Charleston grey. They're supposed to get to be like 2 or 3 kilos, but I can't imagine that's going to happen of a plant that is this wimpy. The fruit salad tree is doing tree things, I guess. It stopped growing but hasn't died. I'm keeping water up to it. This bed was a bit of a complete failure. Apart from the 2 zucchini plants, we've had plenty of yellow zucchinis. These eggplants I grew from seed, 3 lots there, and I planted these seeds like 6 months ago and they just do nothing, and the Jap pumpkin in this bed, same thing. It's growing okay apart from the crunchy bits, but no, not a single flower. Like there was a Roma tomato in the middle that kind of fell over and died and then reshot from the base, and the watermelons, that's about it. So this bed needs some work. It really gets hammered with the sun in the late afternoon, just comes straight in and cooks everything. Like, anyway, these Rosella plants, which I thought weren't going to come to anything, but they're actually really impressed me. Just look at them. I don't think, well, they jettison the buds here. I don't know why that is. Maybe heat stress, but it still has had flowers, and that one's going to open tomorrow. And they're just budding up. Like I say, every leaf junction has got flower buds coming. So I'm quite impressed with those. I'll grow that kind again next year. These plants are a different kind to the main three, and these ones seem to be growing much better. The shape is better. There's more side shoots with buds, so I think I'll grow them again. The rock melon, honeydew melon that was on the trellis here was fantastic, really. I got 6 big 1 kilogram. They were all about 1 kilogram exactly. 6 good melons off it, and the first one I picked too early, absolutely tasteless. Texture was perfect, but did no sweetness, no nothing, no flavour. So I left the other ones a bit longer to get some. There's striations that they get. I don't know if you can see it. Little rough lines. There's a big one along the bottom there. I've heard somebody call them sugar lines or something. But if you wait for them to start appearing, then you harvest it, and then they are sweet as really delicious. Quite happy with those. First time I've grown a sweet melon so successfully, so that's encouraging for next time. And with that, I think we've talked about everything. We've been going too long. I've been talking, jabbering away as usual, but yeah, it's hot and dry, and if I didn't have wicking beds, this would all be dead. Wicking beds are just the thing. They are the ticket, especially when it doesn't rain for 3 months and it's 35 degrees for 5 days in a row. So yeah, thanks for watching if you're still watching, and I suppose I'll be back again with an autumn garden, or when all this is gone, and I'll be refurbishing the beds a bit, manure, mulch, and try and make the soil better. I might give them a rest through winter and concentrate on getting the soil good for next spring. Anyway, I'll sign off, and I'll catch you next time.